Valley Club. The Lunar Rebirth event is live right now. It does have some decent rewards, but the Shadow Orb has a real value. And in this video, I'm discussing why I think you should be pushing for this orb. Also, what are the best ways to decide if a T4 is necessary or skippable? Got an easy solution for you. And which Thunderbolt are you voting for? I'm going to tell you my picks as well as answering all the questions for the mailbag, because it is Mailbag Monday. So if you're ready for all of that and a lot more than Valley Club, you know what to do. Find that like button and let's go smash it. And welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel. I am ValleyFlyin. Hope you're having an excellent day. It is Mailbag Monday. So as usual, we're going to go into the mailbag, answer your questions about Marvel Strike Force topics, non-Marvel Strike Force topics, whatever. We're going to answer your questions, and I'm going to discuss one of the best orbs that I've seen in the game in a while. And if you do get some value from this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We have at least 5 Marvel Strike Force videos every single week on the channel. And while they're not sponsoring this video, they have sponsored video in the past. There's a huge sale going on at INTOTHEAM. They have some great shirts there, other great clothing, 60% off. All for Black Friday. Cyber Monday goes from now all the way till December 8th. And if you use my link, there's an initial 10% off that you could save. But let's go into the game, talk about this Lunar Rebirth event. And as we look at these rewards, these milestone rewards and these ranking rewards, there are some okay rewards here. You got some turkeys here. You got some Oath Night Stalker Orb fragments. Got some okay things here. Nothing really like I'm really excited about. These ranking rewards kind of the same here. You got some diamonds, you got some purple gear, you got some crimson gear, and all this stuff is good. We've seen a lot of this stuff before, so for me, this is not really an exciting event. However, if we go into the orb that you can get for spending campaign energy, it is one of the best orbs that I've seen in a while. And I'll tell you why. It's because of the unfarmable characters. We'll open one of these just a little bit, but if we look at the left pillar, dark promo credits, that is stuff that I know I feel like I'm always short on. Got some crimson gear on the right pillar, and in the center pillar, well, the selection of characters are pretty good. All of the characters on the bottom are sort of farmable in the Battle World stores, temporarily farmable for a lot of these characters. And then these Annihilators are going to be made permanently farmable later. So I'm not sure if I should count this bottom row as farmable or unfarmable characters. For myself, there are characters that I need for this upcoming event for Shadow King. These Annihilator characters, it's Illuminati characters. So for me, this is a very good orb, especially with the event that's coming up. And then we got 3 unfarmable characters here. We got all the Orcus characters that are unfarmable: Nimrod, Omega Sentinel, and Normal Sentinel. Now, Black Panther, Shuri, Hank Pym have been normally farmable for a while, but yeah, the rest of the Annihilators questionably farmable. The endgame Thanos will end up in that Battle World store, but Gore the God Butcher, Gladiator, they are going other places after that. So in my opinion, this is a great orb for 2 reasons. We got a good selection of unfarmable characters, and the characters that are farmable are going to be valuable for the Shadow King event. So for me, I'm pushing all those 50 core refreshes and 100 core refreshes, not necessarily for the event, but for the orb. Let me know what you're going to do with this orb. Does it have enough value as it does for me, or do these characters and some of the things in the event just kind of say, I'm going to save my cores? Let me know what you're doing with this. And quick PSA about Battle World before we move on to the mailbag questions. Just started. I was about to do all of my attacks. However, there is this event going on right now, this milestone event for Emma, which awards you points for spending campaign energy and beating Battle World zones. So just keep that in mind. Instead of doing your Battle World attacks as soon as it begins, you may want to wait until this Astral Ascendance event resets, and then you could get points for this instead of waiting to the next day. And on Friday, it was announced we have another character vote that should be happening very, very soon. This for 2 new members of the Thunderbolts. And as far as these selection of characters, Songbird, Hyperion, Lady Bullseye, only one of these characters was a member of the Thunderbolts in the comics, and that was Songbird. However, I'm going to vote for the other 2 characters just based on what looks I want to see in Marvel Strike Force. I think this is an interesting look. I've never seen a character like this in Marvel Strike Force. So I would go for Lady Bullseye, also Hyperion, the Superman of Marvel. Looks like a very, very cool character. I'm not sure if they're gonna have this mask here, because the Hyperion that I know has more of a black and gold suit instead of a gold and red suit. Doesn't have that mask here. So hopefully go with a different character model of Hyperion, but I'm going to be voting for Hyperion and Lady Bullseye. Let me know who you're going to vote for once this goes live. It should be later this week, but let me know who you're going to vote for down in the comments. Let's move on to the mailbag questions of the week, and big shout out to everybody that left a question there. If you do want to leave a question for one of these future mailbag videos, join the Discord server. The link is down below in the description of the video. go to the mailbag question channel, leave your question there. I do like to answer as many questions as possible, and this is just the easy place for me to organize and keep everything in one place instead of getting some text messages, Twitter, and emails and different things. I just like to keep everything here so I don't forget anything. But first question of the week, maybe a bigger question that we can in the mailbag, but with a new team, so say Annihilators and on, where would you prioritize T4s, especially with the influx of awakened abilities? It feels like there are more T4 than needs than mats available. And if the devs are doing their job properly, that's kind of what it should be. It's kind of a resource manager. Now at the end game, there's a lot of T4s and I'm just, equipping every single character. Or if you're short on T4s, you do have to selectively choose which characters are going to get those T4s. The T4 needs of each character will be different for each character. And you can kind of see what team the character is on based on what mode they're in. If you like that mode, I'll probably go really T4 heavy on some characters. Annihilators are a good example of that. That is a team that's an arena. That's the game mode that I value the most. For me, it goes arena in raids, and then I guess battle world in between that, because that's kind of a 5-day thing instead of a 7-day thing. And then Crucible and War are for fun. That's how I value these game modes. So these teams that are good in those game modes, I prioritize their T4s by that. Other place I look to determining if I want to equip a T4 is, do I actually use that move? So some characters use their ultimate and then the battle's pretty much over. So equipping their special and their basic wouldn't be as valuable. And the last place I go to is right here, MarvelStrikeForce.com. If you're collecting the web milestones, if you are collecting your free claims in the stores, you have your account associated with MarvelStrikeForce.com. So I'm assuming most of the players that are pretty serious want to get that free stuff and are going to link their account to MarvelStrikeForce.com. And the good thing about this, if you go to MarvelStrikeForce.com, this T4 confidence was only the people that did have an account with MarvelStrikeForce.com. Now with the free web claims and the milestones that are associated on the web, I think a larger percentage of the community does have these T4s equipped. And this T4 confidence, when you go to each of these character page, is based on percent of users who have this ability maxed out. And like I said, now I think it's a lot more accurate because a larger percentage of the community does have these equipped. So this isn't always going to tell you what is the best T4s, but I think this is a good starting place because if the majority of the community does not have that T4 equipped, it's probably not a good one. So this example here, Gladiator, if we look at what this T4 does, 60% damage to the primary, secondary target, seems like a very weak T4. And unless you're maxing this character out because you're like me and just want to max out character based on the mode that they're in, probably wouldn't want to do this T4. Next one is the special, and for him, he's going to clear all barrier on all enemies. I think that is a very important one, especially if you're using Gladiator to fight null. Also does more damage to all enemies, clearing all positive effects on all enemies instead of clearing 2 random positive effects on all enemies, and then 3 regeneration for 2 turns. I think this is a great one, and as reflected by the community's usage of this, 50% of users have this special T4 instead of, as we look at the basic, 38% of users. And as special, I use it on turn 1 with Gladiator in Arena, so this is a very important one for me. Now this ultimate, it is a pretty good T4, but because you're having a 5-turn cooldown starting with 3 ability energy, I don't always get to this ultimate. So for me, this ultimate would be a little less impactful than upgrading that special. However, based on your battles, that may be a little different effects that you see. So if we look at this, 46% of users on MarvelStrikeForce.com have this T4 equipped. Not as good as the special, but still a very good one. If we look at the effects of it is actually pretty good. My only question for this one in particular would be how often are you using this in battle? So 50%, if below 50% health, generate 3 ability energy for self, 70% more damage to the primary target, and if this character is above 50% health, you're going to reduce the speed bar of the primary target. Seems like a great one, and if you are ending up using this ultimate, I think that's going to give you a lot of value. Moving down to the special, this has a 64% rate on MarvelStrikeForce.com, which means 64% of users have this T4, which means on spawn, he's going to gain immunity and safeguard. That is a strong opening move, especially for a tank that starts with taunt. And on spawn, apply defense up for 2 turns to self and all Annihilator allies. I like T4s that affect the entire team. So for me, this would be the best one, then the special, then the ultimate, and I probably would skip the basic if I didn't have a lot of T4s. And then you could kind of go to each character like this. You could check them out, see if it's going to be value for you and your playstyle or the game mode that you like. and then start looking at the T4 confidence where the community has them. Like I said, it's a good starting place. The community sometimes have some weird T4s on characters that aren't very valuable, but it's always a good starting place for you. So that is some things to consider when using a T4. I have a Dark Diamond question. Is any of the zombies worth it or not? It really depends on your valuation of war. The Undying Team, the zombies, they're great in war. They're okay in Cosmic Crucible, depending on what team and room you're using them in, but they're going to be a war team. So if war is something you value, I think you build up this team. The Dark Diamonds is just going to make them a stronger war team. So yeah, you build them up if war is something important to you. For myself, war is not as important of a game mode, so I'm not putting any diamonds on these zombies. But if I start to win it with a milestone event, I definitely would chase that. All right, so hey, Valley, can decide if I do 7 red stars to upgrade Super Skrull, or do I put 6 reds on Apocalypse? I know Apocalypse is an arena right now, but I have no Dark Diamonds on any character, and Skrull would be my first. So I guess is the temptation to put put a diamond on one of your characters, a Dark Diamond on one of your characters, over getting the character that. For me, I use Apocalypse a lot more. I use him a lot more on offense. Super Skrull is kind of on defense in war, kind of on defense right now in Cosmic Crucible. Not always, those could always change, but for myself, Apocalypse is a lot more valuable. So I would put that 6th red on Apocalypse rather than putting that 7th red and a potential diamond on Super Skrull. Apocalypse is an arena, and the way I value these game modes, I use Apocalypse a lot more than Super Skrull. Super Skrull's kind of fallen off of the arena meta at the high levels when you have Mephisto and Odin. So for me, I would get my 7th red star on Apocalypse and start working on diamonds on that character. So put the 6th, eventually put the 7th, and put the diamond on that character. But for you, you may have more value for Super Skrull. You may not have him on defense. You may be using him on offense. He may still be in the arena meta for you. At that point, you go with Super Skrull. But for me, the choice would be Apocalypse. Hey, brother Valley, hope all is great with you. Same with you, my brother. I have a quick question. Making my way through Dark Dimension 7, what are the best legendary characters to bring up? Currently I have Old Man Logan and Black Cat, but I'm not really sure who else to bring up. Any suggestions? So we'll go into that in just a little bit. I do want to answer this second question first, though. Thanks, and one more quick question. How come you don't use the classic ValleyFlyin intro anymore on your videos? I just want to try to get into these videos a lot sooner. So introduce what the video is about, then I'd rather get right into it rather than having that 10-second the ValleyFlyin smash thing. So that's why I took it out. Just wanted to get into the video a lot sooner, and I'm trying to shorten up the intro so we can get more into the content of the video. But yeah, as far as which characters to bring into Dark Dimension 7, let's go into the website, onto the Dark Dimension Planner. So you mentioned Old Man Logan. I think that's a great choice. Black Cat is also a great choice. Now for myself, Green Goblin Classic is a great choice. I like Cosmic Crucible. It's a great Cosmic Crucible character. And the Sinister 6 and the Superior 6 are also great in War. So Green Goblin is right now a War/Crucible character. If those game modes are valuable to you, then Green Goblin is a character that you should bring up. Let's move on to the rest of the legendaries at this point. I don't think any of these are worth bringing up. Maybe Doc Ock if you're really leaning that Green Goblin, the rest of the Superior/Sinister 6. Bring up Doc Ock because that is a good character. The rest of these characters, you don't need to bring up for these 90 uniques that are needed. Now for the 72 uniques that are needed, and I think most of these characters are trash. Black Bolt does have some value on the Illuminati, and Iron Man does have some value in the Illuminati as well. We'll go back to that. If you don't have Captain Britain, we do have a lot more shards for Captain Britain available, but if you don't have them and want to use a 5-piece Illuminati team, Iron Man is the 5th piece if you don't have Captain Britain. Now Black Bolt is on the Illuminati. He's on the best version of the Illuminati, so you may want to build up this character if the Illuminati is important. And again, that would be more for Crucible. Now there is a little bit of value for Adam Warlock and Omega Red that I've seen this week in Battle World. However, as you approach the higher difficulties, difficulty 4, difficulty 5, I think they are going to fall off. So I think you can skip most of these characters. You can skip Phoenix. She does have a little bit of value, but at this point, I don't think you put the resources into her. Invisible Woman doesn't have a lot of value. Morgan Le Fay, Rogue, and Red Hulk all have some value right now, depending on where you're using them. For myself, I use Rogue and Cosmic Crucible defense, War defense as well. So that's going to be a more valuable character. And from time to time, I use Red Hulk on Arena offense or Crucible offense, pairing him with Apocalypse, trying to get that speed manipulate the speed a little. So for me, that would be my choices. You may want to wait till Shadow King, depending how close to the legendary section in Dark Dimension 7 you are. So you may want to wait, because usually these characters that are, you know, these big newer legendaries are going to be better than the older legendaries, especially in the meta. But that is my choices, brother. You have some other great characters, like I said. You got Iron Man, Black Bolt for the Illuminati. You got the Doc Ock for the Superior / Sinister Six. And you got Morgan Le Fay for some hybrid Mystic teams. I don't think you go full Darkhold at this point, because Agatha's onto another team. But on some hybrid Mystic teams, Morgan Le Fay does still have some value. I think Nova's value is very, very minimal at this point, even if you're a hardcore war player. So you skip Nova. And I guess the next question is, how close are you to Dark Dimension 7? Do you wait for Shadow King later this week, or do you go in right now? Hey, Valley, I have a Battle World question. I keep getting kicked out when I start a battle. Doesn't happen every time. If you don't participate one level, are you barred from participating in the next level? It's very frustrating to be a leader and not to be able to help my team. So I think what you're asking is you're not actually able to get into battles. One question that heard from people, actually, when you click into Battle World, are you getting this black screen here? One way to get around this, if you go into war, you had that loading screen for war, get out of war, you go into Battle World, it should load properly. We actually just did that, went into war, came back out, so we should be able to go into Battle World right now, because I don't think that is your issue. I know some people have that issue, which is why I wanted to point that out, but don't think that's your issue, because you keep getting kicked out when you start a battle. And to answer your question, the way I believe it works, and correct me if I'm wrong, Valley Club, as long as your alliance hits this threshold right here. So in this case, for difficulty 4 would be 60,000. As long as you hit this 60,000, you should be able to enter zone 2, and hopefully you don't have those issues and getting kicked out of battles. But does suck. Hopefully you can at least place your spec ops when you go into that zone, and can get some points for your alliance. But I would definitely write into support, because that's a bug. Hopefully they can recreate that and can get you into battle and get that Battle World issues fixed for you. Hey, Valley, hope you're doing well. Simply want to make sure I have a full list of the tunes that have come out since Aries, so I can make sure and build all the tunes with the updated stats. So based on my list, I have the following teams: Astral, Night Stalkers, Orcus, and Annihilators. I believe Ares was the first, but couldn't remember if it was the first or the last one with the old info. So the questions here: did Illuminati get the new stats? Short answer, no, they did not get the new stats. Ares was the first. Did Undying get reworked the release of Zombie Scarlet Witch? Yes, I'll show you the blog post with the announcement of Zombie Scarlet Witch and the reworks of the rest of his characters. Is there anything else I'm missing? Yes, there's one character, but it's Odin, so it's kind of a weird character. So we go and look at the blog post with Ares. This was back on July 15th, and what they say here: starting with Ares, continuing with next team Annihilators, we're adjusting how we balance characters. So if we go back into the game and talk about the recent characters that we have that were announced. So after Ares, the next character was Gladiator. So we got that Annihilator team. Then was Gore, then Endgame Thanos. So all those Annihilators. After that, then we got Odin. So that was one character you're missing, but it's not a normal character and not a normal release character. That's kind of a character that you had to chase. So Odin did have the updated stats. Then we got the Orcus team. We had Sentinel, Nimrod, Omega Sentinel. All of them have the updated stats. The Night Stalkers, like you said, Blade, Oath, Man-Thing are also there. Zombie Scarlet Witch did get the updated stats. And if we go to the blog post about Zombie Scarlet Witch, she does have the updated stats. And if we look, Zombie Juggernaut got a rework, Zombie Iron Man got a rework, and Hela got a rework. So all of them do have those updated adjusted stats. And of course, the team that is being released right now, Emma Frost and Ancient One, also have those upgraded stats. And when his event happens later this week, Shadow King will also have those updated stats as well. Hey, Valley, do you know if Scopely will revisit the Envoy Saves Cause post and make a more permanent feature of this website? It was a cool few months ago when it was first posted, but now it's all out of date. Of course, the Envoys would need to be cool with doing it more often, but I think it's a great tool for the community. Your thoughts? Till next time, thank you and have a great day. I hope you have a great day as well. So the post you're referring to, this is from July 24th. And this was save squads for myself, Duelam, Dorky Dad, and Pathfinder Gaming, who's actually not an Envoy anymore. He's now a Scopely employee, part of the community management team. So that's how old this is. But yeah, I think all of us are updating our save squads for Cosmic Crucible or war, keeping them up to date. So I think it would be just a matter of giving them the new codes and having this updated. Maybe not having this long the blurb that we wrote about each of these codes, but I'll definitely mention it to the community management team. I think they actually forgot about this, but I think it would be a cool permanent feature to regularly update. So maybe make a link to the Orky Dad save squads, my save squads, and Duelim save squads, or any other content creators out there, and just have it updated with whatever we have our current save squads as. I'm not sure if they have that capability, but if they could do that, that would be cool. I'm going to suggest it to them, and hopefully they could do something cool with it. Big shout out to everybody that left a question for the mailbag. And if you want to leave a question for one of these future mailbag videos, which we do every single week, make sure you are a member of the Discord. Go to the mailbag channel question, leave your question there. Hopefully you did get some value from this video, and if you did, leave it a like, send this out to your friends. And if you want to see what to do to win in arena right now, whether you're a new player, mid-game player, or all the way to end game facing those Odins and Mephistos, check out the video up there, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day. Hulk fist bump, ValleyFlyin out.